Hello again, this is Mrs. Dushin here, and we are doing our two-step equation notes in our salmon colored packet. This is going to be pages 5 and 6. Okay, so at the top of page 5, we want to just identify the goal. It's important to keep the goal always in the forefront of our mind. The goal whenever we're solving equations is to isolate the variable. Okay, we always want to get the variable by itself. So with two-step equations, our first step is to move the constant. Remember, the constant is the number that's by itself, okay? We move the constant by either adding or subtracting. Okay, I'm going to kind of abbreviate a little bit there. Step 2, once we've moved the constant, is we're going to move the coefficient. Remember, the coefficient is the number that's being multiplied by the variable. We're going to move the coefficient by either multiplying or dividing. Okay? Now, two-step equations have actually 3 steps because the third step always is to check. Okay? And I know that check can be kind of annoying, but remember, the point of checking is to make sure that you're correct. Okay? I mean, math is one of those subjects where you can make sure that you're correct. So you definitely want to do that. Okay? All right, here we go. Number 1. So the x is on the left. Step 1 is to move the constant. The constant is -8. Make sure you're addressing the sign that's in front of the number. So in order to move that, just like always, we're going to do the opposite, which is add 8 to both sides. We bring down the 6x, and 40 plus 8 is 48. Step 2, move the coefficient. The coefficient is the 6. Right now it's being multiplied by the x, so we're going to divide both sides by 6, and we get x equals 8. Our checks are the same as always. Step 1, we rewrite the original equation. Step 2, in place of x, we find what x to be, which was 8. And because it's being multiplied by the 6, make sure you use parentheses for that. And then we just follow PEMDAS here. So we have to multiply before we subtract. And then the last step is we go ahead and do the subtraction, and we get 40 equals 40. Notice that I continue working down, okay? I'm not setting up multiple equations going sideways. I'm working down, okay? Number 2, again, we want to get the n by itself. First, we got to get rid of the constant, the 10 that's by itself. The 10 is positive, so we're going to subtract 10 from both sides. This gives us 12n equals 60. Step 2, move the coefficient, which is the 12. Right now it's being multiplied by the n, so we're going to divide both sides by 12, giving us n equals 5. Check, same as always. We start by rewriting the original. Step 2, we plug in what we found n to be, which is 5. And now be careful. I know it's very enticing to do 10 plus 12, but you can't because PEMDAS says that we have to multiply first. Okay, so we do that multiplication and then we can go ahead and add and you get your 70 equals 70. Number 3, the first step is to move the constant. That constant is -9, so we're going to move it by adding 9 to both sides. We bring down the -1/2 v. Be very careful there. 25 plus 9 is 34. The -1/2 is being multiplied by the v, so we're going to divide both sides by -1/2. I strongly encourage you to pick up your calculator and check your work. It's great if you want to try to do it in your head mentally. That's wonderful. But then pick up your calculator and check to make sure. This is a very common mistake here. Students will tell me 34 divided by half is 17. It is not. If you take 34 wholes and you cut them into halves, you get 68. And because we have a positive divided by a negative, our answer is -68. Okay? Again, check is the same way. Start by rewriting the original. In place of v, I'm going to plug in -68. -68 times 1/2, negative times a negative is +34. We bring everything else down, and then 34 minus 9 is 25, and it checks. Okay. Please go back and rewind this video if you need to. But otherwise, if you're good, then go ahead and move to page 6. All right, page 6. So we're going to start at the top, number 4. Again, we want to get rid of that constant, which is negative 18. So we're going to add 18 to both sides. Okay, so our 18s cancel out. We have y divided by 3 equals 20. Now, the y is being divided by 3. So to move it, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. Make sure you're not using an x. You should be using parentheses for that. Our 3's cancel out. We bring down the y. 20 divided by 3 is 60. Okay. So we rewrite the original. In place of y, we're going to put 60. And then remember PEMDAS, 60 divided by 3 is 20. 20 minus 18 is 2, and it checks. Number 5. So at this point, it would be a great idea for you to pause your video. Try at least numbers 5 and 6. If you want to actually finish the whole page, you definitely can. And then unpause and check in with me and see how you did. Okay? So go ahead and pause your video.
Okay, that's good.
No, I'm not done. Okay, so now let's check in. Number 5, this one is a common error because of that negative there. But remember, that negative sign is attached to the 8, not the 6. The 6 is positive. So to move the 6, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. Okay? So then what we're bringing down here is negative 8p. Be careful that you bring that negative sign down. 38 minus 6 is 32. And now we divide by that coefficient, which is negative 8. So p is negative 4. Okay? Start our check the same way. Rewrite the original. In place of p, I'm going to put negative 4. And then remember PEMDAS, you have to be careful. Negative 8 times negative 4 is positive 32. I bring the 6 down, and 6 plus 32 is 38, and it checks. For number 6, we want to get the k by itself, so we're going to add 15 to both sides. We get 30 equals 5k. Then we're going to divide both sides by 5. So k equals 6. Pretty straightforward. We're going to rewrite the original. In place of k, I'm going to put the 6. And remember, you're using parentheses to indicate multiplication. We're going to multiply first and then subtract, and we get 15 equals 15. How did those go? All right, moving down. Let's translate first, and then we're going to solve. The product of a number and 9, so product is multiplication, increased by 4, so that's plus 4, is your equal sign, and then 58. Okay, now we're going to solve this. I subtract 4 from both sides, and then I divide both sides by 9, and I get n equals 6. And last one, number 8. 23 less than. When you see less than, your brain should be going beep, 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 right? Less than is a switch word, so you have to be careful. So this is what I do. I put the subtraction, which is the less than, but then because it's a switch word, the 23 is going to come at the end. So I just go ahead and do that. Now, what's going to go here? Well, that is a number divided by 2. So that looks like this. And then there's our is, and then we have negative 10. Okay? So we add 23 to both sides. We get n over 2 equals 13. And then we have to multiply both sides by 2. And that gives us n equals 26. Okay? So again, like always, rewind if you need to. Watch it again. Email me if you need help. I'm happy to do so. I hope this was pretty straightforward. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.